Hello everybody, welcome to another video, and today I'm going to do a little bit of a season recap of what has gone on in the 2022 season. If there's going to be one word that describes everything that I've gone through this year, it's going to be discovery. I've thought long and hard about, well, what's going to be the word to go and choose here? There really wasn't any good words that I can think of that were really positive, and there are a lot more negative things, but it's easy for me with a negative bias and connotation. So I said, let's just go with a more neutral word to really describe everything, and that is realistically discovery. There was a lot of discovery of good things, a lot of discovery of really great things, discovery of bad, and of course the really darn ugly. That has happened this year. So I'll get into some of that as I go and talk and probably ramble on for a lot longer than I should in a video like this. But if there's anything to take away from the summary that has been 2022 for me, then there we go. That is your word of the day, and or word of this year to describe what has happened to me. But before I get into all of that, I also have, of course, I'll also kind of recap with all the different races. I've done lots of race preview videos and also results and kind of some summaries, so I won't go through deep details of these races. I'll try to keep them very brief in terms of what I've learned and what are things to go and improve on. But also, I want to talk a little bit about what are things to look forward to for next year, and what is some of the new and upcoming things that are coming on with this channel. I have taken quite a bit of a break, and this break has been more than welcome for me, and I am really enjoying this break, and there will be a little bit longer of a break through the end of this holiday, which I'll get into a little bit. But to start off with, I first want to say a very happy holidays to everybody. I hope everybody's having a fantastic Christmas or had a fantastic Christmas with family, friends, loved ones, and significant others, and whoever may bring joy to your life. So best of luck, and of course, a very merry, happy Christmas and New Year holiday. So I want to get that out of the way first before I go to what has happened for me this year. I've done 7 races, which I will get into a little bit. But with the 7 races, I have also, with the totals for this year to the 26th of December of 2022, which is recorded, I have done 350 miles of swimming, as what is behind the GoPro here is the amount of stuff that I've done in TrainingPeaks, or at least what's recorded through TrainingPeaks. I have completed 6,100 miles of biking. I have run just shy of 1,400 miles of run distance, which is a lot more than I had thought, with the bike being a majority of the amount of time that I've completed. So I've completed roughly 306 hours of biking to date, with TSS of roughly under 16,600. Which is a lot of TSS volume, but I know the professionals are double that on me. So I will take that with to go through the entirety of the year, which I'll probably have a more in-depth kind of personal self-reflection of it. I probably won't record that down. But the long story short of how the season went is it was a very, very long season, and the TSS not only shows that, but I would show you on the graph here. Actually, you know what? I can probably flip this GoPro around and show you. That is a very, very long season. Starting off here, let me blow this up a little bit more. Starting off the year, starting to get into shape, and then going into Oceanside, which is what 4-2 was, and then had a little bit of downtime afterwards before doing the next ramp up for Ironman Frankfurt, which happened around here. And then after Frankfurt, then I had a little bit more, and then New York City Triathlon was somewhere around here. Then USCT Nationals happen right around here, and then you will see why I had this dip, which I'll describe to you in a little bit. After USCT Nationals, had an injury, and then getting back into Washington 70.3, which is Sunday the 18th, and then to Worlds at the end of October. And then I've decided to take a very long, nice break and slowly start getting back into it. And really, this is more or less level at right around 93 CTL. Originally, I was thinking of going to 100 CTL to level off, but I said, you know what, I kind of value a little bit more time off and to mentally recharge and to focus on other things, which I have left off because of all this training volume that you see on here. So if there is a graph to go and see, now you've seen what has happened through TrainingPeaks. And apologies if the camera's shaking a little because that's the GoPro stand I'm using. But that is my season, at least physically. So got all these medals here to show for the entirety of the season. As I said, Lake Sammamish half, Oceanside 70.3. Then there is no medal for Frankfurt. I did not finish that race. Maybe I'll just do this way, just kind of like a slideshow thing. So I first had the Lake Sammamish half, which was more or less coaching Dylan. Then I had Oceanside 70.3, which turned out to be a really good race for me, although I would have certainly loved to be a little bit faster, but I was in the middle of a training block leading into Ironman Frankfurt, which is what this is, which is a race I did not finish. I have posted many different things on this race. Basically, long story short, I discovered that I did not plan well at all for nutrition and hydration. So that was something I really had to go and learn. And then 3 weeks later, then after I came back, then I had the New York City Triathlon, which turned out to be a time when it was 100 degrees. And so they shortened the race from an Olympic distance all the way to a super sprint, basically. Then I did USCT National Championships. This was my bib for the Olympic distance. Then I also did the back-to-back for the sprint. This sprint turned out to be a super sprint, which was kind of awesome. A lot of fun, even though I certainly would have loved to do better on both those races. But what the heck. And then my best overall 70.3 PR time at Ironman Washington 70.3, which I was very happy with that time, considering how I had injuries leading into that race. And of course, 70.3 Worlds, which wrapped up the end of the year. So from the medal side, you will see the Lake Sammamish half. Then you've got Oceanside 70.3. No finisher medal for Ironman Frankfurt because I did not finish that race. Then the New York City Triathlon. Then the USCT National Championships, they were basically the same medal, just one for the different days. And then Washington 70.3. And of course, this this was a lot heavier than I thought, but this is the medal for the World Championships this year. And to me, World Championships was, funny enough, World Championships, I did not want it. I mean, I wanted it to be an A race, but the preparation was like a C race going into that. And I kind of discovered really more or less is kind of what my limits are for training, but I found the motivation to go and do really well at Worlds and really just go from there. So there's the races in summary. So again, 7 races completed, 6 of them. My first DNF ever in a triathlon, actually in any race or competition that I've done, which considering it's on Ironman, I would say I got 97% of the experience. So I will consider that a win. I mean, sure, not completing the race is kind of a bummer, but you know what? I still enjoyed Applevine the day afterwards and got to explore around Europe for really more or less the first time ever. So that trip was not a bad trip per se. And then, of course, with Worlds, really fantastic cap, but of course I won't wear it because, well, it has the signatures with Matt Hansen, Sant Long, and Ellie Salthouse, which Matt Hansen did pretty well in that race. Sam, unfortunately, didn't have things work out his way, nor did Ellie. But I'm a big fan of all 3 of them. But this cap is an awesome cap, but I can't wear it because now it has signatures on it. So that aside, so a few other things to look forward to. I've got additional trainings and courses and certifications I need to go through. What is also coming up is I am building a website. Currently just went through a lot of pictures and will continue to have more picture finding and gathering for that website. I will also plan to reach out to a couple of my friends who do commissioning art for helping out with potential logos and just more or less establishing the brand for what'll be the coaching business for next year. I will say coaching on its own, I think more I look back at it, I keep asking myself, why haven't I done this sooner? And but with, I would say the athletes I've coached, I think have been relative successes, although I did have an athlete drop out on me for reasons I prefer not to say, but I felt like I got my karma. I'll leave it at that. Really then, with a really long season, another discovery was where I found my limits, as I showed you with the TrainingPeaks graph a little bit earlier, where there's only so much volume and intensity that you can train before it just really started not being fun. And I was kind of burned out prior to going into Worlds, although I said, you know what, show up and see what happens. And another thing I discovered is the less expectations I set myself up for, and just focusing in on just putting a number out there rather than trying to go and hit a number. That mindset switch for me somehow worked. And I won't say it will work for everybody, but it transformed the way how I went and approached races. I had so much more fun, and I was getting PR times and performances that I didn't think would really happen. And I'm really happy that this change of mindset of just going out there and really more or less having fun and realizing what was fun in this sport is the fact that you're going out there and just delivering a performance and not really putting the pressure on myself to go and I have to go and hit certain numbers. Knowing I kind of go on feel a little bit more now with races has tended to me a bit better. And sometimes too much numbers and too much technology can be more of a bad thing as opposed to a good thing. And but speaking of technology, not all technology is necessarily bad, such as what this video that is being recorded on is this GoPro. But what is also there, I have a new A99 Mark II camera. I am not really able to use its full potential capabilities because I don't have a fast enough memory card that can record 4K 30 video from that thing. Although that camera is it's 42 megapixels and the resolution on that thing is sick. But newer is not always necessarily better in terms of the latest and greatest, and the Sony A99 Mark II has been around for like 5 years. So I got one for like $1,600-$1,700, which for it, the only thing that doesn't work for it is kind of a control stick, but those are details that I'll worry about later and am able to figure out because I've got all the lenses and all the support equipment around it, as you probably saw in that screenshot. So what's coming new for next year? I won't be doing as many races next year. I'm just going to be flat out straight with that. And I'm going to focus a little bit more on shorter distance stuff, and I'm going to focus on getting my coaching pedigree further up to speed. So you will probably see more videos relating to the coaching element of it. You will see more content around coaching, but you will still see all of the vlogs about travel and going to different places and exploring around and just showing what is the possibilities of the sport. And there'll also be a couple of product reviews that I have lined up here. I've also got, as I look back on my whiteboard, different things about what to think about during the off season. So that video has been stirring on my mind for a while. But really more or less the focus for me over this holiday break leading through the new year is, one, I'm going to complete all of these courses that I've really been slacking off on, and I need to go and crank this through. Secondly, I'm still in off-season mode and should still continue to think about being in off-season mode. As a result of that rest, I have learned and continue to discover that I have additional performance gains to be had simply by having more rest in the season. So that will be applied to training for next year, where I'm not going to train as much in terms of just the overall volume, but the intensity and the recovery periods are going to be even more key. Thirdly is I'm going to, of course, as I've mentioned, is really put a lot of effort into this coaching business. And one thing I've learned with coaching is that I really should have started sooner. It's been really rewarding. There's been a lot of good things, a lot of great things, and of course a lot of bad and ugly things that have happened in it. And a lot of it is really on me to go and make those improvements and to make those changes that need to happen such that I not only am a better coach, but also am a better person from it. But it's been an amazing ride, at least with coaching just in the first year. Super happy that age group coaches on the USAT membership, but I want more than that. And the drive to want more is what is really having me motivated for next year. There's a lot of different changes coming aboard from just my work outside of triathlon, so my real work. A lot of things that I've been kind of contemplating over. So I've got a whole thought session that will happen over these next 6 to 8 days that I still have off. And a lot of things to also revamp on. And I need to get going on that. But I'll keep it brief and, well, I've been rambling now as I look at my smartphone here. 17 minutes already on this video. So what are the races coming for 2023? I've got WTCS Yokohama. That'll be my first major race. That is an Olympic distance race, not draft legal. I think it's draft illegal. I don't know if my tri-bike is still legal for that race because I raced in 2017. Wasn't really clear to me, but I'll bring it anyways and see what happens. So ITU or WTCS Yokohama. Then I've got Escape the Cape in Cape May, New Jersey in the middle of June. So about a 1 month turnaround from WTCS Yokohama. Afterwards, I've got the USAT National Championships, both the sprint and Olympic. Although I will probably end up not doing the sprint because I've got a wedding to attend to the next day after the Olympic distance race. And I kind of want to make sure I'm present for that because that has been 4 years in the making because of COVID. After USAT National Championships will probably be Ironman Washington 70.3 again. I haven't fully decided. I've not signed up for any Ironman races because it's, to be frank, has been really expensive. My money just keeps going like this every time I go to them, and it's like, I can't spend all this money on races that, I mean, you're completing, and if I want to compete at this next level, I mean, this year, Washington 70.3, even though I had a best time and I had a really great time, from a performance standpoint, there were just so many people better than me. And hey, you got to give your hats off to them. And I frankly don't have the time, and I'm not finding that same enjoyment to where, okay, I need to put in 20% more hours to go and reach the level, but am I really being happier because of it? And the short answer is no. I don't think it's worth my time. So, and then lastly is the Chicago Marathon, which has been a deferral because of COVID. It'll be my 4th iteration of the Chicago Marathon. I think I've posted a few videos from back when I did it in 2019. So I've done it 2017, 2019, and I believe, I want to say 2021, but I could be wrong on that. And then that's it. 4 races, although there probably will be a 5th one, but no more than that. And that's about it. At least that's the look ahead for next year. What will be coming up next in terms of a couple of videos that will be shot. I've got what are some off-season things to worry about or to think about, what are considerations. So that's one video. Another video will be around what to go around annual training plans. What's the importance of them? How do you have goal setting? What are important elements to go and consider around how you go and construct a race season? And how to prevent yourself from burning out throughout a season, which is something, again, I discovered I burned out a little earlier than I thought. And the harder that I worked, then the higher the chance of injury, and I had plenty of injuries this year. So that's another thing to think about in the off season. Third thing is also going to be, of course, a couple more product reviews. I've got some new shoes that have come in, and I will go and sample and live demo. And lastly here, going and fighting some misconceptions on what people say is going faster to be better, which there's a truth to that, but you can't always go fast to get better because you've got to think about how to be smarter with training, and slower can be faster. So there'll be another video on that. So that's on the docket so far. I've rambled on long enough, and but I just want to provide this update to share with everyone what has been going on with me. Again, recap is that there's just been a lot of revamp, a lot of certifications, a lot of trainings, a website that I'm building, and new equipment that I'm getting more or less up to speed, and getting all the some of the better recording technologies to this, and go from there. So if you like the content of this video, then please go and hit that subscribe button for me down this way. You know the drill, as well as the bell notification on the bottom right-hand corner. And leave a comment down below. How's your season gone? Have you had any good ups, any downs, any in between, any great moments? I'd love to know. And of course, feel free to follow me on my social media. I am on Facebook as well as Instagram, although I mainly post on Instagram feeding into Facebook, and of course my YouTube channel. And until the next video, Yoshi out.